Good morning, Fellowship Hi-Crest. My name is Cassandra, and I will be with you this morning for your Jumpstart. And we're coming out of Judges chapter 16, verses 1 through 3. One day Samson went to the Philistine town of Gaza and spent the night with a prostitute. Word soon spread that Samson was there, so the men of Gaza gathered together and waited all night at the town gates. They kept quiet during the night, saying to themselves, "When the light of morning comes, we will kill him." But Samson stayed in bed only until midnight. Then he got up, took hold of the doors of the town gate, including the town posts, and lifted them up, bar and all. He put them on his shoulders and carried them all the way to the top of the hill across from Hebron. This is God's word. So, reading this passage, I had to understand Samson a little bit better. Samson has been chosen by God, and you see both strengths and weaknesses. So Samson is been given the strength like no other, physical strength of no other. But his weakness comes in his faith, and his back and forth between his faith in God and faith in himself, and his self-centeredness, arrogance, his just super foolish ways. And you see this all throughout Judges and in the past couple of chapters. This particular chapter 16, it shows that he went to this vacation town of the Philistine, where he is the most wanted man by the Philistines. And he basically gives them a slap in the face by going into their town and spending the evening with a prostitute. And so all of these men gather to kill him, to finally get their revenge, to finally capture and murder him. And yet somehow you still see that even though Samson made a foolish and arrogant decision to go into this town, that God is still in it. Although you don't see the words that show he was guided by God or led by God, you can still see God being so patient and protective of Samson. Because when he got ready to leave through the gate where all of these men were, somehow these men fell asleep. They didn't hear a sound as Samson was leaving, and he didn't leave quietly. He left loudly by grabbing the doors and the posts and the bars and carrying it all the way up a hill. Imagine trying to lift that on your own. It's not something that would be a quiet feat. And yet these men stayed asleep, and Samson, again, made it through Christ, through God. And so sometimes I was thinking and meditating on this, and sometimes my faith is wish-washy. Sometimes I go back and forth on my faith. I turn to God and I read His Word and I study and I pray to Him, and God is so patient. It doesn't say in the Bible when we give ourselves to Jesus that, and we proclaim that through baptism, that we're not going to mess up, or we're not going to make a wrong decision, or not be foolish or arrogant, or things like that, just like Samson. But God is patient, and He loves us with everything He has. And so it gives me hope to see that our God, who was patient with Samson, and it says in His Word that our God is not changing. He is the only thing that doesn't change. And if He is patient with Samson, just think of how patient He is with us, loving us, wanting to be close in relationship with Him. So I hope today that you guys are encouraged, and I hope you continue to power up, pour in, and spill out. Have a wonderful day, Fellowship.